Is this the best wide receiver draft you've ever seen?
Greeny, I would have to say it is. I mean, when you look at the depth of talent, this receiving class, I mean, you just gave the list of names. We didn't even have Rondale Moore on there. Rondale Moore is another special talent, too, who's a guy almost like Jalen Waddle, but Jamar Chase, a guy who opted out of the 2020 season, had a phenomenal 2019 season, the Biletnikoff Award winner. Now he's in this draft, too, maybe the first receiver off the board. You talked about the Slim Reaper. And then we have even added Kyle Pitts, the guy who's a tight end, but we all know he's a wide receiver in a tight end's body from Florida. So the depth of this receiving class is very impressive. The talent pool is even more impressive. So I think this just might be the best receiving class we've seen in the NFL draft.
Which makes it fascinating to me, and maybe this is going a little bit deep in the weeds, RC, but if you're making a decision up near the top of the draft where we expect the receivers to start to go 5, 6, 7, 8, that neighborhood, and you can take one of those big guys, you can take Jalen Waddle or Jamar Chase, but you know that when you swing around late in the first round, second round, there's still all these names. We haven't mentioned Rashad Bateman, we haven't mentioned Amon-Ra St. Brown, we haven't mentioned Tutu Atwell. There are so many receivers in this draft. How do you weigh taking one of them all the way up at the top there versus filling another need and thinking to yourself, I can still get a really good player in a later round?
Well, you definitely can get a really good player in a later round, but you can also make some mistakes. Do you think the Philadelphia Eagles aren't wishing they drafted Justin Jefferson? And so I think if you see a guy and you know that he's your dude, I believe you take him, whether it's the first round in the top 10 or you feel like you can get a guy in the second round. And obviously it comes to needs, right? But think about the Miami Dolphins, and you have Tua Tagovailoa, and you have an opportunity to get him a weapon around him or to find him protection. You have to weigh those options and figure out what's best for your team. But when you look at a guy like Jamar Chase, this is surefire. This is can't miss. When you go back and watch the film from 2019, Greeny, you know what you're going to see? C.J. Henderson, Jacksonville Jaguars #1 corner. A.J. Terrell, the Atlanta Falcons #1 corner. Trevon Diggs, the #1 corner of the Dallas Cowboys. You know what else you'll see on that film? Every single one of them getting cooked by Jamar Chase. We don't have to guess what this guy will look like against NFL talent because we saw it and he was a star. So when you have somebody like that, you don't wait until the second round to say, you know what, we can get somebody similar. You go get your guy.
You like it better, Desmond? And again, we're going deep in the weeds here, but Penei Sewell, people think that he's like one of those bookend tackles. You put him out there, you play him forever. If you're Cincinnati and you're sitting at 5 and you got your quarterback in place right now and you're choosing between taking the left tackle to protect him or you're taking one of these guys like Jamar Chase or Kyle Pitts, which way do you go at 5?
Even as a former wide receiver, you got to go with the protection for your quarterback, your franchise quarterback. You know, we saw what happened to Joe Burrow a year ago. We've seen a lot of quarterbacks who got just outworldly talent, like otherworldly talent, but because their offensive line can't protect them, they don't have an opportunity to show that talent. And that's the case with a guy like Joe Burrow. So you need to protect your franchise quarterback, and you want to make sure you shore up that offensive line. So, Greeny, as much as I would say get him a weapon on the outside, I love these wide receivers, you have to get you an offensive tackle that you think can be a guy who's a Pro Bowler, All-Pro, and guy's going to be there to solidify your offensive line for maybe the next 10 to 12 years.
Those are some of the decisions that will shape the top 10 of this draft. Oh, the action is going on at the LSU Pro Day behind Ryan Clark. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.